Hello, beautiful Patriots.
Hello, Patriots, nods, digital soldiers, and proud deplorables.
This is Carrie.
This is Joel.
And we are the Quiet Boys
of Truth.
All right. Hope everyone is well on this Tuesday evening, October 6th.
Absolutely.
Woo, we're getting into October, guys.
Hope you guys are ready for some big old booms. We have a special guest with us here tonight.
We do indeed have a special guest, guys. We have
one of our faves.
We have Scott, otherwise known as Beer at the Parade, here with us live on Tuesday night.
How you doing, Scott?
Scott, are you with us?
I'm just glad I'm live because that sure beats the alternative.
Yes, it does.
Joke.
Yes, it does.
No joke. So we're gonna have Scott, and we're gonna go over the Q posts from today together. And there's some interesting ones, some tweets that Scott dropped that correlated really nicely with some of the tweets or the Q posts that came out.
Definitely.
So yeah. I'm gonna get on over here to this one.
All right. Hope everybody is doing well out there.
Yep. Q went through a handful of days of radio silence and came back with both guns blazing. It was a great day if you're a Q follower, especially for any length of time, as I know I have been. This is one of those days I've been waiting for, and I feel vindicated.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's been an uphill fight. I mean, and we're still going strong.
Yeah, but, definitely a historic day for all of us who follow Q. So yeah, we're all excited.
Absolutely. So should we just dive right into this first one here then?
Let's dive right in, guys. Okay, so we're gonna start with post 4807. This came in today at 4:08 p.m. We have a tweet here from Senator Ron Johnson, and Q says, "Time for a change. Let's see what happens." Let's check that out, Joel.
Yeah, let's check out that tweet there. And what do we have here? So, yeah, Senator Ron Johnson, just look at the difference in material my committee received from the USGSA versus the FBI. Let me get this really zoomed in for you guys. Really want you to see it here. So it says, does this make any sense? Okay, and this is about a 2-minute, 48-second video, and we're going to let it play, and you guys can hear what's said here.
Well, so let me disagree a little bit with Chairman Graham, where he said he's very pleased with the production out of the FBI. I am not. Let me just give you one example. Here's a document we got from the General Services Administration. You can see that it's an email, and everything's presented except for the very bottom. They've redacted the mobile phone number of the person writing the email. Here's the exact same email we got from the FBI. You see something different here? Everything is redacted. And that, we're supposed to get thousands of pages from I had to finally subpoena the FBI. They are on their second extension. Everything is due by, I think, the 30th of September, and that's the kind of information we get. It's non-information. We have to fight over redacting the same documents that we get from other agencies. So I am not happy at all with the document production we've gotten out of Director Wray and the FBI, not even close.
You know what? I'm really glad you put up those documents because this is something that I have heard from day one for 3+ years. When Ratcliffe was in Congress, Nunes in Congress, yourself in the Senate, you've been demanding documents to ensure that you understood what took place, and they will not get you the documents. They sit on documents and make it incredibly hard for you to prove the point that is true, and that is that it was a sham investigation into President Trump, and there's a ton of wrongdoing here. Do you think you're going to get the documents? I mean, is this Christopher Wray? Why is Christopher Wray still in charge of the FBI when he is overseeing these agents sitting on things?
His job should be to restore the credibility and integrity of the FBI, and the only way you do that is through exposure. But the other point I have to make, Maria, when we finally do get these classified sections redacted or unredacted, when they become declassified, you look at what information you have, and you have to ask yourself the question, what national security interest was at stake here? Why was this ever redacted? The answer is almost always because it embarrassed the agency or it embarrassed a powerful person. That is not the reason to classify information. It's certainly not the reason to keep the truth from the American public. And that's all I've been trying to do, is I've been trying to reveal the truth. Another important point to make. I've been accused of peddling Russian disinformation. There is no Russian disinformation in our 87-page report. The press report on it, and I'm calling on the press. You were duped. You were leaked false information. You should not protect those sources that leaked you false information. It should be your journalistic duty to basically tell the American people who provided you false information that resulted in this 2 or 3 year national nightmare because of the false narratives that you carried the Democrats' water on.
Do your
Exactly.
job,
And they're not
media.
even admitting it at this point, guys. They're
Right.
not even saying that this happened. You know, they apologized once to our president for what they have done.
No, they probably never will.
Oh, this
You know,
is
it's just-
crazy.
it's
What are your
terrible.
thoughts, Scott?
Well, I have several thoughts, and I'll try to keep this short because I know that we're a little pressed for time tonight. But number one thing I've never understood is that when people are elected to both the House and to the Senate, I want to know why they don't go through a top secret sensitive information security clearance like I had to when I was a young man, so that they could not only be exposed to all the unredacted documents and evidence, but then they would be trusted to not leak any of it. That blows my mind, makes no sense to me. So we
Exactly.
elect somebody and they can get access to the same intel I got in when I served. And yet somebody like Schiff can just leak to the press. Brennan leaks to the press and there's no penalty. I don't understand it, but I think the hammer's coming. Secondarily, when you look at the end of that drop by Q, quote, let's see what happens. Where did we last hear that about 10 times?
Right.
Trump
Trump
rally?
says that a lot. He said that a lot too.
He said it a lot during the last 3 years, but he said it like 3 times at his last rally.
Mhm.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was really upset. And then it became a theme for the rest of the Q drops the rest of today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said it quite a few times actually over the last week.
Right.
I'm
Well,
thinking.
notice how Q is starting to echo Trump. And then when we get towards the end, you'll notice how they meet in the middle, but please continue.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll move on to post 4808. This was dropped today, the 6th of October, 2020.
At 4:15.
Yep, 4:15. So we have a graphic here, guys, and this is interesting. You see, it looks like an Anon posted this. It says trust 17, and what they're referring to here is you have this graphic of planes here, right? And they all have call signs. It looks like a 747. Was it a 747, Scott?
Now scroll down and you'll see on the right-hand side where it says ident. There it is, trust
Right,
17.
yeah, ident. Yeah,
It's
this
the
row.
B742.
Okay. 740.
It was somebody picked up on the call sign though, and Trump just said, "Keep charging, Midnight Riders." Like, you guys are good.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. Trust
That's
17.
awesome. Oh my
And look,
gosh.
that must have been one of these planes right in here.
Yeah, it was right up around my neck of the woods, but I'm not going to give
Yep.
myself away.
Right.
That's awesome. Were you in the plane, Scott?
Nah,
Oh man,
it was not me and Mr. Barr, and I guarantee you Pompeo was not on our part of the plane. He was in the back playing his bagpipes, and we had to throw a dart in the bagpipes because it was loud, it was annoying.
Yeah, keep charging Midnight Riders, Night Watch. Man, yeah. That
Oh,
is
so I had a
quite a
quick
little hat tip.
question. Maybe you have an answer for this, Scott. So at the beginning there of that video that we just watched, Senator Johnson said he disagreed with Chairman Graham's assessment of the FBI, like how they did on this case. Like, when did Graham say that? Because he didn't seem too happy at the Senate hearing the other day.
There's been a big public display about how the FBI has been slow walking or even just not giving over documents that have been requested by any of the intel committees. And this has been playing out for 2 years. And it was right at the same time when Ray took over and Q dropped trust Ray. So I'm like, okay, well, until you tell me otherwise, I might trust this guy.
Right.
So what I think has been happening is that Ray has been giving his marching orders. You'll sit on these documents until we tell you to release them, which may never come. And if Ray's a white hat, he would say, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I'll just wait for you and then I'll do what you tell me, which is what we all do. Once we get orders, we just do exactly what we're told to do. So if you're talking about all these operations going on and Q trying to figure out the perfect timing for everything, everything's been very liquid because more and more information has come out with the Clinton Foundation going through Durham and Huber turning everything over to Durham. And this whole thing has gotten bigger and bigger than almost anybody can imagine. I doubt Q is surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had to be a little liquid on their timing of everything, inclusive of starting to declassify things leading up to the election, because the optics are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very fragile.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for this to look like it was just vindictive on Trump waiting 4 years to get Hillary or Biden or Obama. And so I was really surprised to see this thing start rolling out before the elections, but I'm not unhappy. I can tell you that. I'm smiling.
Oh yeah, us too.
Definitely.
Us too.
We are definitely stoked to see this. All right, you want to take that one there? Actually, Scott, do you want to read that one, 4809?
Oh, great. I feel like I'm in grade school and there we go around the room and I got to read.
Your turn to read aloud to the class, Scott.
All right. I'll do my best. God, I hope there's pictures. Let me click on this. Please have pictures, lots of pictures. Okay, there's a video. Can I just play the video?
Yep, absolutely.
It says the headline, DNI declassifies Brennan notes CIA memo on Hillary Clinton, quote, stirring up, end quote, scandal between Trump and Russia. A source says Brennan's handwritten notes were taken after briefing Obama on the matter. So I'm not going to read the article because are you guys going to drop a link underneath this thing?
Yeah, we always drop the links down in the description so anybody can go check it out.
Because I read this to Mrs. Beer today and I was actually quite frankly winded by the time I got to the end because it was a long full. It was a pretty long article. But the good news is, and the basic part of it was John Ratcliffe, who's going to go down, and this guy fell into the best job anybody could have ever fallen into at the last minute. Most people don't know what the DNI actually does and why Ratcliffe is so important. John Ratcliffe is not only the head of the DNI oversees all 17 three-letter agencies. These guys are like the big dog on the block, okay? Gotcha. So the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, all of them report to the DNI. So when Ratcliffe drops something, the whole world stops and goes, oh boy, including the bad guys, which gets me kind of excited. So,
oh yeah,
yeah,
most definitely.
So Q dropped that along with their line of the day. Hey, let's see what happens. It might be huge.
Making people read. That's what we do.
It could be huge.
It could be huge.
And then they just kept building as the day went on. So go ahead.
Yeah. Wow. What a day. Okay. Post 4810 came in at 4:36 today. We have a Just the News article, and Q once again says, let's see what happens.
Let's head over there. So this is Just the News.
Just the News. Declassified memos. CIA feared Clinton was stirring up false Russia collusion narrative.
Really?
Now, why were we not aware of this in 2016?
You know,
who would have been the head of the CIA back then? I'm having a little memory loss here.
Head of the CIA.
John Brennan?
Yep.
Brennan? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Normally I suck at pop quizzes, but I've been gearing up for that one all day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love me some John Brennan. Oh yeah, put him on the spit and put him over the fire and turn him slowly.
Yeah, Dano was just talking about his dislike for John Brennan last night, I believe.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and read. How long is this? Is this a super long one?
Yeah, I wouldn't read it. I would just tell people it's worth reading and just let them do.
Well, you're good at summarizing, Scott. So did you read this one too?
Of course.
Can you give us the summary? The cliff notes.
Let me go back and click on it. Was it the 4810?
Yeah, 4810.
Okay. So basically it was saying that Ratcliffe declassified two documents. One was the handwritten notes from John Brennan himself, where he was basically telling that he went to Obama and told him about what they were going to do regarding Hillary approving a plan to go after Trump using the Russian hackers to like deflect away from her crimes with both her server, her emails, and what they didn't say but was implied was what was it called, the SAP program, Special Access Program, which is so freaking illegal. That means she was selling access to our highest level government secrets to like China, Russia, and all of them. Holy crap. So basically, in his handwritten notes, he was admitting that he went directly to Obama and he implicated Hillary, and of course implied as Biden, because if Obama's getting the information, the vice president has to get the information. So he's basically saying he went to the president and said, we're going to like try to tie Trump to Russia with bull crap stuff, and just to deflect away from all of Hillary's crimes. And Obama said, great, do it. Holy crap.
Oh, here is one of the
Boom goes the dynamite.
Here's one of the handwritten notes written by John Brennan. He says, we're getting additional insight into Russian activities from redacted. Site alleged, approved by Hillary Clinton, a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by the Russian security service. Oh, oh my gosh.
So if any of you listeners are interested in what's coming here in about the next 10 minutes, stay tuned, because let's see what Q does about the redaction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Well, here we go. Post 4811 dropped today, October 6, 2020 at 5:37. So we've got a link to NBC News. All Q says is information warfare. This is a big deal, guys. Right here, look, we have Facebook bans QAnon across its platforms. The change is a significant escalation over its previous actions targeting QAnon and one of the broadest rules the social media giant has put in place in its history. Wow.
So they dropped the link, and of course, they end it with all caps, information warfare.
Yep.
Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a narrative that played out through this afternoon, this evening, that's about to shift. What Q started off doing was showing us what it's like to live in a communist society in 1984, the George Orwell novel. And so they're saying, so here you are, you're about to be shadow banned, everybody on social media. So they dropped the article, and all they said was information warfare. Now, interestingly, if you'll notice that like 2 hours later, Q drops 4812. And if you skip to that, wait till you see the sudden shift in the narrative.
Yeah, so let's say, yeah, look at that.
He gave up everything. He knew his life, the lives of his family would forever change. He knew and now knows the consequences. A man who had everything. Why do it? And I dropped that one and I said, because the stench of the swamp was choking himself, choked his family, choked his businesses, and was choking his country. And he had had enough.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love this graphic here too, you know.
That was right out of Joe M's fantastic, The Plan to Save the World.
Man, that's amazing.
Yep.
That is amazing. Wow.
So that's where Q shifted the narrative this evening at that time. And I thought it was just, at the time I was like excited, but I didn't know where they were going. And they didn't make us wait too long, because it looks like 1954 to 24. 10 minutes later, look at what they dropped on 4813.
Yeah, so this one came in at 8:04.
Yep, 10 minutes later.
Yeah, so how close did we come to losing it? What if she got in? What if she got 3+ Supreme Court justices? What if she got 300+ judges? What if rogue elements remain, plus more added, within FBI, CIA, NSA, state, DNI, White House, IRS, DHS, ICE, WHO, CDC? What if our military remained financially starved? What if foreign backers continued to control America's policies? What if our borders remained open? What if China was given the keys? What if? This is not about Republican versus Democrat.
Can I read that backwards to you and see how different it is?
Yeah.
What Q did was, by using the Socratic method, they were saying, look what happened. We didn't lose it. She didn't get in. We got the Supreme Court justices. We got the judges. We made sure that we cleaned out the FBI, CIA, NSA, state DNI, White House, IRS, DHS, ICE, WHO, CDC. We cleaned them all out. Guess what? Our military is not financially starved. The foreign backers did not control our policies. Our borders are shut down. China has been backed off. And by the way, this was always about good versus evil.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. 100%.
Oh, man.
Man, this is something else.
Intense.
So moving on to post 4814. This was also dropped today. It says, why are we being censored? Why are we being attacked daily? Why are we being condemned by Congress? 1984 thought crime? What happens when people are no longer allowed to think freely? What happens when people are no longer allowed to challenge their authority? What happens when people no longer fight back? Q. Huh.
Yeah.
So notice how they now then build us up a little bit. And then they talked about the 1984.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just saying, this is what we put you through. We can't tell you, we had to show you. We had to censor you. We had to attack you daily. We had to allow Congress to win the midterms so they could look like complete buffoons in front of the world, and they did.
Yep.
Yep.
And they are the ones who thought 1984 thought crime was the way to go. And, we weren't allowed to think or even act freely. Well, I was, because I just told them to piss off. But what happens when people are no longer allowed to challenge their authority, which is really amazing? They would let mall cops tell them to put a mask on. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
And now, what happens when you're no longer allowed to fight back? So this is a difference of what happens. Do you remember when Reagan talked about it only takes one generation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, we just lived through it, and we saw that nobody had the sack to fight back. And
Yeah. Oh man, that's a big deal.
yep. So then now they're starting to bring us back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank God.
I think a large part of that, though, Scott, is like what we've discussed before, is that many people have been so discouraged by everything that they've just checked out of all of this, of politics in general. I mean, I can tell you quite honestly, in 2016, I didn't know any of these names that we're talking about right now, because I was so frustrated and so done with politics and with the whole thing that I was checked out. I didn't give a crap what happened, honestly.
Wow,
And
you and
it
I
sucks.
have that exactly in common. I was the most apolitical, apathetic person
Mhm.
you'd ever meet, because I always said I can't make a difference.
Right. Exactly. That's how a lot of us have felt, that,
Yeah.
our whole lives, like, felt powerless with all of this.
Right.
That's the beauty of this entire movement, is they got us back in the game.
Yes,
Yeah. We're taking back our power, guys.
117%.
Oh, yes, we
yeah.
are.
Big booms.
It's
Big
so
booms.
cool.
You said you guys all forgot how to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yes.
did say that.
Yes, absolutely. We kind of
Well,
gave up. We just said, you know what? We forfeit.
So
but it's understandable, and that's why this whole movement is going to be so critical moving forward, is that it's going to be incumbent upon us to gently reach out into the stands and grab our loved ones and our neighbors and our friends and our coworkers and our clients, and easily bring them into the game at their pace.
Right.
yeah.
And that's what this is all
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah. This is a great awakening, man.
Yeah.
We're getting everything back. We're taking everything back.
So I know you guys were trying to keep this on a little bit of a deadline, but there were 2 drops, and they were like, holy moly, especially the next
Right.
one. So I'll let you guys drop this one because it's your show, but man, this one.
Yeah. There's something I
yeah.
want to show people too, though, when we do this.
Well, this was
Oh, and you
crazy
might-
because Joel showed me your tweet that was put out way earlier today.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get there so
Let's
you guys
just
can
show
see that
them-
this was dropped at what, 8:44?
Yeah.
At 8:44, okay. But also, I want you to look at
Oh.
something else here.
Yeah, the one before that was also a
Oh, yeah.
Hero Delta.
Oh, yes.
And
Let's
then-
look at that.
Yes,
Let's look at that first.
Here we go, guys. So Beer dropped this earlier today. So yeah, 7:08.
All right. So do you want to walk us through this, Scott?
Yeah, as soon as I finish getting my beer, keep going.
So,
All right. So he says mathematically impossible, eh? Dark to light. So let's look at these timestamps, guys.
mhm.
Yeah, they were 6 seconds apart. That
Look
is
at that.
not possible.
Look at that. Look at the
So I
seconds.
made a comment on underneath the Q drop on the lower left. I said they were dropped at the same time.
Whoa, what happened?
There we go.
Dropped at the same time. Yeah.
Go ahead
You
and read
asking
it.
us.
Your voice is way nicer than mine.
Ah, well, thank you. Q asking us to think about the 1984 George Orwellian suppression we've endured above, and Donald J. Trump at the right announcing transparency. Look at that, guys.
Yeah.
That's whoa. That's
So,
pretty amazing.
Trump, he retweeted Paul Sperry here. When all the documents are finally declassified and all the redactions removed from reports, the nation will see that the FBI and CIA not only knew the Russia collusion allegations against Trump were a political dirty trick, but they were in on the trick. And Trump says, I have fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the single greatest political crime in American history, the Russia hoax. Likewise, the Hillary Clinton email scandal, no redactions. Wow.
Boom.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah, that is boom
Yeah.
right there.
That is what I've
time.
been waiting for since November 2nd of 17.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
Now,
Oh,
I
man.
want to show you guys something else, which I saw earlier today. This was from you, Beer. So this was put out by you 5 hours ago, and I was like, "Oh my word!"
Right,
This
because we've been speculating for how long about what C before D.
Oh, but
Right.
you know what? I don't know if I'm right on that one.
Right, but
I feel like you are.
it kind of is, because I mean, Trump puts out this tweet about
Yeah, I know.
declassification.
So, you know, he walks out of the hospital, he kicks the crap out of the COVID, and then the same day, I mean, he just drops it, you know, he goes, "Well, let's just declassify everything to see what happens."
Yep.
So that just kind of hit me earlier today, and I'm like, oh my God, what if,
Yeah.
because he's talking about declassifying stuff, and I thought, well, the timing's like spectacular as far as I'm concerned. So,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
COVID before declass. And so when we go up here to
Yeah.
this next one, guys, what does Q post? Our president's tweet we just read, right? And says Red October. You know, and it was interesting because this came out what 8:43. Scott, you sent that tweet out at
and by the way,
1:55 today.
did you notice my avatar right there that you just had up?
This one?
I turned it red for October.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We kind of did the
We
same
did the
thing with
same,
ours.
yeah. I was wondering why our logo was changed overnight, and then I was like, oh, it's
doing
red.
some Red October
right.
digital
nice one,
camouflage.
Joel. Nice one.
The only reason I did that, and I think I changed my bio as well, is because I had finally figured out that both Q and our president had led the Anons down like this this alley where there was no going back, and they had made enough promises. And in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they had gotten so direct in their drops and their comments that we couldn't go back.
Right.
So it was all or nothing. They were either going to fulfill their promises that they had made for 3 years, and they led us along for 3 years, and we willingly went along for the ride. I've got no problem with that. But I also figured out how they were talking and the way they were talking, and what they were talking about left them no out, and they knew there was no out. So I knew that it was either Red October or nothing. So I went all in. I changed my avatar, changed my bio, I changed everything. I said, I'm all in.
Yeah, we are too, brother. We are right there with you.
Right. So someone in the chat is asking, all declassified, but what will it bring? Mainstream media will make light of it. It should be top news, and it absolutely should. And is this even in the news, guys?
No, because
Is
we
this being
are
reported?
Nope, we are the
Nope.
news.
Yep, that's right.
So it will be put upon us to put it everywhere, Twitter or Facebook, everywhere. But if you do that, be judicious, be smart.
Yes.
So if you can do it like in a Word document or in a note or in a text editor, take a screenshot of it and drop it as an image, not as text, so you guys don't get shut down.
Yes, exactly. That's very important, guys. Be smart about it. Yeah, that's a very good method, what you just mentioned right there, Scott.
Okay, so say that again.
Okay, well,
some of us are slow processors, so we've got to put it in a Word document.
This Fody generator, Fody newspaper. So I'll give you guys a link that you can drop as well.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so here, I'll give you guys a link that you can put underneath. So you can use this thing like Foti.com, and you can go in there, and there's a lot more things behind that. So it's /generators/newspaper.
Oh, okay. Is this the one you showed us before where you
Yeah.
had, oh yeah, that's awesome.
I've used
Okay.
this over and over and over to fool the algorithms.
Yes.
So
Very
like-
cool. Yes.
so
We'll
like
leave
on-
that. Send us that link and we'll leave that for everybody in the
Oh no,
description.
I'll text it to you right. Joel, it's on its way to you right now. So
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you.
use things like this. So like on Twitter, you have like a text box where you can type what you want. Well, that's what their spiders go looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
if you do a lot of pro-Trump, pro-conservative stuff, it'll probably shadow ban you, possibly
Right.
shut you down. So what I do is I'll say things like, hey, hoping Biden wins in 2020, and hey, let's have a meetup. And I've just pasted a newspaper clipping down below, and I put these like fingers pointing down and go, read all of this. And in this fake newspaper clipping, I'll put what I really wanted to say.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, that's
See,
smart.
and it's
Very
it's a
smart.
very good way to do it.
Very
I've done
clever.
this before. It's actually really cool.
Well, it hasn't worked perfectly because I'm still
Mhm.
shadow banned, but I still one of the few patriots that kept my account. So it works well
Absolutely.
enough.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So,
Man, that was such a good call though. When I saw that today, I was like, is he right? And then I see that other one come out, Trump tweeting that out. I was like, holy crap, Scott hit that right on the head.
Yep.
My word.
well, if you throw enough crap at the wall, something will stick.
Exactly. Oh man. All right. You wanna take this last one, Scott?
Yeah, let me get there. Okay, so Q says, think drop earlier today regarding Senator Johnson regarding the redactions and compare the GSA versus the FBI. Trump's quote, let's see what happens.
Mhm.
Think the president today quoting and tweeting no redactions. Do you see what happened? That's the $1 million question, because every time I look at a question, it's like, for me, I'm holding like a dice, or a die, but a 6-sided cube, and I look at all 6 sides.
Mhm.
And so when somebody says, do you see what happened? My first one is, well, Trump said no redaction, so we're going to get everything. The second
Yeah.
side of that I looked at and I said, well, they were certainly comparing and contrasting what the GSA released versus what the FBI was hiding.
Right.
Yeah.
And the next one I looked at was, why was the FBI hiding that, and were they told to do that? For timing.
Mhm.
Trust Ray. Then the other side of that, I started thinking about, do you see what happened? And I'm thinking to myself, what is in the redactions?
Yeah.
And were the FBI covering their asses, as they probably should have?
Yep.
And then the last one was, imagine if Comey was a white hat and he turned everything over to Ray, and imagine if Comey had everything on McCabe, Strzok, Page, or all of them.
Man.
Holy crappy pappy.
That would be a real like mind blower right there.
So then, okay, so we've kind of gone through that possibility before. It's still hard to imagine Comey being a white hat. And if that were the case, then what was the point of his amnesia? Was it just about timing? Like it couldn't come out at that point during the most recent Senate Judiciary Committee hearing?
Okay, so there are 2 guys who were kind of joined at the hip in this entire movie. It was Bob Mueller and his protege that he mentored, Jim Comey.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
So one mentored the other. When both were called on the carpet, neither one of them could remember anything and didn't know anything about their own. Mueller didn't know what was in his own report.
Right.
So what is the odds of a career military officer at the most important point of his career unable to actually understand the report he supposedly generated? I give it 1 in a billion.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
happen.
that's not a possibility.
Okay. Then you got a guy like James Comey, who's obviously one smart dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's called on the carpet. He can't remember what he had for lunch. And they started talking to him at 1 o'clock. So the most important parts of his entire career, he's claiming, I don't remember getting that intel that we were investigating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
Now-
didn't remember anything. Right.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
guys are familiar with Occam's razor.
Yes.
So do you think they both went senile at 2 different ages at the same time? Doesn't make sense to me.
No, that doesn't
No,
make sense.
absolutely not.
Definitely
Or
not.
are you thinking that they're lying to try to save their hides, even though they know the other guy has all the hard evidence? And if that was the case, would you lie knowing they have everything on you? Probably not.
Yeah.
Remember that Q drop where they just vaguely referenced Mueller and they said, once a Marine officer, always?
Mhm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Boy, that one just stayed with me like a pebble in my shoe.
Oh yeah. Man.
And I thought to
Wow.
myself, number one, if you were truly a Marine officer and you're a decent person, you're tortured both ways. Number one, if you've got a really crappy boss like a Hillary Clinton and you're given a direct order, you do it. That is
Yeah.
the oath you took when you swore in,
Yep.
except for if it goes against the Constitution, your country. That's where it gets interesting. So at what point in time did somebody, and this is all conjecture on my part. I've got no sauce. I'm just talking freely here, okay?
Right.
But I'm saying to
Right.
myself, I know how the deep state operates, and they are horrific people. And if
Oh,
they
yeah.
compromised Mueller's wife, kids, grandkids, and let him know that they were going to torture these people, and then his direct boss threatens him and makes him do something like with uranium one and the uranium cake sample and walks it up to Canada. Does he do it? Well, he would do it for 2 reasons. Number one, it was a direct order, and you never defy a direct order.
Nope.
And number two, you know what the alternative is. If you don't do it, your whole family goes down. And it's not beyond these people to do this. So might have Mueller done something really bad against this country, though he didn't want to? Possibly. But if he was a patriot, would he have documented everything? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Waiting and
Yeah.
hoping and praying someday his own government would have gotten cleaned up enough to where he could go to the new commander in chief and say, look at everything I've documented for the last X amount of years.
Yep.
And it sure seems like Rod Rosenstein might have done the same thing because his whole demeanor changed.
Yeah.
Remember when he got off of Air Force One after meeting with Trump? Remember when
Mhm.
Lindsey Graham got off Air Force One and he's like a new man?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Completely different.
It just seems like these people were freed.
Yeah.
You know, I really hope that is the case. I really hope that's what's going on here. I just wonder if we're ever gonna really know.
You know, I think that we will, but it's right now optically it's got to be done this way. You know, I mean, us as Anons, you know, we've been digging and finding stuff, and it's, you know, it's like it's been a long journey, guys, like a really long journey.
Mhm.
But
So do you think Ray is white hat or not white hat?
Right now, if I had to bet, I'd bet white hat. Q
Okay.
Crop 2 years ago said trust Ray. I
Right.
think with
Yeah.
trust Sessions, Ray, Huber, Horowitz, and sorry, I shouldn't have had this last beer, but it was Ray, Huber, Sessions. Did I say-
Sessions. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember that one clearly.
And there was one more. So I've trusted all of them until being instructed to do otherwise. And
Mhm.
if that's the case, did you notice that there was 2 guys that went radio silent, completely off the radar for 2 years? It was Sessions, who just disappeared,
Yep.
Mhm.
and then it was Ray, who just disappeared. Do you think
Interesting.
Trump would have fired both of them if they weren't doing exactly what he wanted and needed them to do?
Hmm.
Yeah. Man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Crazy.
Holy
Anyway.
crap, dude, that is one insane tattoo.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw the initials JF in my text. It was my nephew, Jeff. I'm not saying his last name. Should we a tattoo? I just assumed it was you. You're the last guy texting me for JF. Oh my gosh. Oh,
No, Joel is tattoo list.
so am I.
Yeah.
Man,
That's in
that's
honor of his
wild.
father.
Oh, that's
Aw.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so man, this was a pretty big boom day here, especially with that declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the Russia hoax. Man, that's
Mm-hmm.
who. Yeah, I don't see the media talking about this one bit. In fact,
Oh,
I think that
no.
there's a shite storm of cover up coming to get everybody's eyes off of it.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're still posting, Trump hasn't died yet from COVID.
Like, dude.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man.
man.
Very, very crazy.
Yeah. So vaccine damage veteran in the chat says story on Google says Facebook just banned and erased all QAnon platforms and pages. So yeah, that was
Wouldn't surprise us because we got ours back and then I'm sure it's gone again.
I don't know. We don't really post on there a whole lot.
Well, we were being shadow
So
banned.
who knows?
So,
Yeah,
it is what it
their
is.
whole narrative on that was pretty ridiculous, right, guys? They
Yeah.
said that the first round they only took out QAnon accounts that were basically endorsing violence, and this time around they're taking out all of the QAnon accounts, whether they are
Boy.
That's
endorsing violence or not.
That's because they couldn't find any QAnon accounts endorsing violence.
Endorsing violence, exactly.
Exactly. They really need to learn because every time they do this, it has the Streisand effect. Every time.
Well, it just validates my theory. And this one's held water for a couple, 3 years. I was the one that came right out of the gate and I said, I think Q and Trump have written every single story on mainstream media.
Huh.
Nothing else makes sense to me. They've gotten not one story right. Trump has been confident by going fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news.
Yeah.
He's written every story.
Yep.
That'd be crazy if that's the case. I mean, I can see that. I can see that being a reality.
Yeah,
But
for real. I know.
Just hop on, any Q aggregator and just search for Operation Mockingbird and watch how early Q started dropping Operation Mockingbird. They did it early on.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy if that.
No, actually, if you think about how this is played out, nothing else adds up.
Nothing makes any sense. Yeah.
No. Look at every story they had a chance to get right, and they got none of them right. And I'll give you the short version. Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels, he's in jail. She had to pay back $293,000.
Right.
Michael Cohen, Trump's own attorney, went to jail. We've got Russia collusion, 2 years on that, nothing burger. We've got the phone call with Zelensky and the whole Ukraine thing. They were trying to impeach him on that, and Trump said perfect phone call.
Right.
Why did he say perfect phone call? What a weird thing to say 55 times, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember why it was a perfect phone call? Legally, he had to ask Zelensky to investigate any corruption.
Right, because they signed an agreement, right?
In
The US and
1999,
Ukraine have an agreement.
It was a treaty.
Treaty, yeah.
and that was put in place, what, Bill Clinton, right?
Absolutely,
Yes.
1999.
Yeah.
So Trump said perfect phone call because why? We are watching a movie and he was reading a script. So there goes Ukraine collusion. Here comes the COVID, everything in between. There have been so many things. I forgot they have gotten 0 stories right. Not only do they not get them right, they get them completely wrong so we can boomerang all of them. And here comes the latest and my favorite. Hey, let's have a look at my taxes and my finances. I've been waiting for that one.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Is that one going to boomerang on Pelosi and shift all of them? Oh, hello, kitty.
So what I cannot wrap my brain around, what I just can't understand is how there are people still watching the mainstream media, and it's like they don't realize, like, how can you not realize? I mean, you just gave us a breakdown of all of their, I want to cuss right now, all of their fake.
You're going to say failures. That was the F word.
Yes, the failures, the journalistic failures that we have witnessed over the last 4 years, one after another, and they've never come out and admitted that they were wrong. They've never apologized. They've never been held accountable in any way whatsoever. So how are people still watching that and still like just, soaking it all in and believing everything
Well,
they
I
hear?
think some of it comes down to that it's the way it was set up for so long. People became accustomed to it, and so that's what they're like. No, everything's fine. This is the way reality is supposed to
Oh my
be,
gosh.
and it's
Well,
not.
I-
I don't know.
Can
I'll
I
never
come to-
understand that.
Can I come to the defense of the normies for just 1 second so we can all be a little more empathetic towards them?
Absolutely.
Yes, it's really
Okay.
hard when you have family members, and they're
Okay,
so intelligent and they're educated and they're compassionate and they're wonderful human beings and they are believing everything they watch on MSN. So
Okay, so there's two things. The number one is that going into the election, I wasn't a Trump fan either because of what little I saw of him on TV and in the media because of his thing on The Apprentice.
yeah.
Yeah, and so
I wasn't either, Scott. I didn't like him either.
okay.
But
So he's just
I was
arrogant.
raised by Democrats.
Okay,
So,
well,
I
I wasn't raised in any political environment. I just didn't give a crap about politics. So I had no dog in the hunt. All I knew is I hated Hillary. I really didn't care for Obama. I hated Bush. I hated Clinton. Couldn't stand Bush's dad either. Quite frankly, I didn't like any of them. Thank God I got lucky and hit the lottery that when I went into military intelligence, my commander in chief was the guy who got elected right when I went in. His name was Ronald Reagan. Great guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hit the lottery. So I got from 80 to 84 with Mr. Reagan and President Reagan, paid my dues to him. But I didn't like Donald Trump and I surely did not like Hillary Clinton. And I kept saying to myself, 330 million people, these are the two best we get to pick from. Seriously, this is it. And I didn't watch any of the debates. Well, I take that back. I didn't watch any of the preliminaries. So I didn't watch Trump plow his way through 16 other Republicans. But when it got down to the two of them, I got interested one night and I watched Trump and Hillary debate. And I remember saying to myself, something's wrong here because she's not that good. I do public speaking for a living, or I used to. One thing I've learned is what a public speaker should do, what you memorize, how you deliver, hand gestures, eye contact, a whole bit. And I said to myself, as I watched Hillary speak, that is not her. She either has something in her ear and somebody's giving her the lines, or she's been given these questions ahead of time. And I was watching it by myself, and I'll never forget having that thought. Turns out I bought Donna Brazil's book. She freely admitted to giving Hillary all the questions. So I didn't like either of them. And quite frankly, when Trump got elected, my wife was all going through the roof. The next morning, she's all hugging me and high-fiving, going, yeah, one of them had to win. Didn't get it then either. Well, fast forward from, I think it was November 8th of 16 to January 20th of 17, I went to work out during the day, and it was during Trump's inaugural address. When I came home, she said, find this on the internet. We have to watch this together. And I watched him give that address, and I said, oh, he's better than I thought. He's another politician that's smooth. He made every promise we all wanted to hear. I'm going to shrink the government, put it back in the hands of you, the American people. I'm going to build the wall. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I said to myself,
Scott?
and I didn't say much to my wife until Q started dropping. And when Q started dropping, I found it by pure luck, some video YouTube thing. And then it said link down below. I clicked the link and I was in 4chan and I started reading about the Q drops and what the other anons were saying. And it's about 3 days later, I never stopped reading. And I said to my wife, look at this. I think it's real. And I go, if this is real, Trump isn't who I thought he was. And if he's not who I thought he was, and if this is real, this is going to be, other than the second half of the Bible, the greatest story ever told.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It turns out we're looking at it.
We sure are.
We definitely are.
Oh, man.
Wow.
What an exciting time for our world, Patriots.
Absolutely.
We're all here for a reason, like we talked about the other day.
Yeah. So I think that's going to cover it for all the Q posts for today. And Scott, we loved having you on as always, brother. We love having you on our show.
Yes. Thank you so much, Scott, especially last minute, like we did to you. We called him and we're like, do you want to be on our show in like 5 minutes?
He's like,
Scott
sure.
is so amazing. He's like,
I'm there now.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
You
So
didn't do it
awesome.
to me, you did it for me, because I'm just so
Aw.
glad to just share a couple thoughts with other patriots. So I'm very blessed, and I'm really blessed to have met both of you. And if Patty was still awake, she would mirror the same sentiment. So God bless both.
Oh yeah, we love you guys so
yeah.
much. You've been awesome.
We're so blessed to have met you guys. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Consider you
definitely.
friends. So Scott, we're going to have you see us out here in just a minute. But I just wanted to say on Saturday, Patriots, we're going to have Snarkish Dano back on, and we are going to cover his Antarctica thread.
Yeah, I guess he put out what did he put out? Like a poll or something asking what everybody wanted him to talk about, which thread, and looks like Antarctica won by a landslide. So
If I'm not
I
gonna
guess
lie,
we're not talking about COVID.
I voted for Antarctica too.
I'll tell you something, Snarkish Dano and I have connected in real life. This dude is wicked smart.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
is.
you can tell that by, just the way he speaks and his threads and everything. Yeah. It's no surprise that the two of you get along so well.
Really smart.
Yeah.
Your listeners are going to enjoy that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what an awesome guest for sure. It's really interesting meeting all these super awesome patriots, getting to connect with all you guys, and our patriots that are in the chat. All you guys are amazing.
Yeah,
and
we love you guys. Yeah.
So awesome.
So cool.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that patriots, if you do happen to be new here, if you're enjoying our content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, toggle that little notification bell so you're notified when we go live or when we put out a video.
And so before we do this, I just want to say, so Vaccine Damaged Veteran made a really good point in the chat. And I just wanted to bring that up. He says, along with spreading the word from person to person, because we cannot rely on our media, it would do us well to pray. And I absolutely agree with that. And I think that especially right now, guys, prayer is so powerful.
Yeah.
No matter how you do it, it's so powerful. And we really do need that right now. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That may be the most important thing that came out of this entire conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, Scott, do you want to see us out, brother?
I'd be happy to. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Hey, where we go one,
we go
all. Oh. Love you, everybody
good
in
night,
the chat.
Patriots.
Good night, Patriots. Let's listen to some guitars then.
What the TV won't televise. What the TV don't televise. What the TV can't televise, and it's happening now. Open up your eyes, it's happening now. What the TV can't televise.